And I believe we are live. And there is some kind of interference this evening, and I have no idea what it is. However, regardless of that, welcome to another episode of the Not Dave Grohl Show, where I am not Dave Grohl, and I'm not going to do the rest of the tagline because it's Monday, and I'm tired. As a matter of fact, I've been feeling very drained as of late, and I have no idea why. And I've been sleeping a tiny bit more than usual, which, I mean, where's the problem, right? But, I have no idea why. The tarot readers say it's because there's somebody pulling on my energy and casting spells on me. The astrologers say it's because Mercury is in retrograde and spinning off towards Virgo like a marble into the great black beyond. My mother says it's because I worship Satan. And I'm sure the scientists would disagree with all of them. But regardless of that, we are here. I am going to try to maintain a sense of humor, and I am going to try to not be grumpy as we track some rhythm guitars tonight. Though I do fear this episode will be short, and depending on how you like your content, maybe that's a good thing. Maybe that's a bad thing. Maybe you don't care one way or another. Maybe I don't care if you don't care. Either way, we're doing this. I don't know that I have a pre-recording story to tell today, since I have apparently become quite famous for my very dry storytelling. But I don't have one this evening. So we may just get into it because we have a lot to do, and I want to go to bed early because this is my off workout day. So let's get this party started. That was bad. Anyways, we're going to pull up the Reaper, and we are going to look to about right here, and we are going to do some splice, and I'm going to play a bunch of rhythm guitar parts, maybe a few lead guitar parts if I am still feeling up to the task afterwards. I don't feel like this is going to take very long, if I were being quite honest. And I'm just cleaning up this project a tiny bit before we get into this, because I'm going to have to do editing anyways, so I may as well do it now at the beginning of the episode where not very many people have joined yet. Speaking of which, if I do have a story to tell, actually, so I am going to tell this very quickly. I did get a notification from Facebook today that looked a little something, if it feels like loading. No, not that one. No, not that one. This live video has ended. That cannot be true. Oh, that's because I need to refresh this. Because web browsers don't work like phones. However, I would like to take the time to those who have been watching. Thank you specifically for this right here, for those of you that have been watching and giving views, whether it is while I am live or after the fact. Facebook is recognizing me as a top rising creator, which I don't really know what that means, but still, they gave me this little cool banner to post on my Facebook, and I appreciate all of you guys for watching my content, no matter how much or how little. And shout out to Patty, who is apparently very, very prominently featured on my friends list, throwing up gang signs. It is very much appreciated. I actually almost got into a fist fight because of her earlier, because I like to go into the local 7-Eleven and I like to torture her while she's working. And I threw a paper ball receipt at her, and the person behind me got incredibly offended, not realizing that we assault each other for fun because she's there and I'm there and I need liquid death. And I'm not sure there's a point to that story, but either way, that happened this evening and it was kind of funny. So anyways, let us get the almighty Telecaster here. Let us unmute the rhythm channel. We definitely don't need that tone. We are going to switch over to the tone that we created yesterday, which I simply called The Cure. Why can I not find the presets that I am looking for? Aha, there it is. I really like that guitar tone. The more and more I've listened to it, the more and more I have enjoyed it. Now, I fear that I may have a small problem here, and we are going to test this. There might be a gap in the audio, so I may need to do some splicing as I'm recording this stuff. I am. First things first, let's make sure we are in tune. So, I think we are going to do this. First off, I'm going to adjust these a little bit. So that if I have to go back and retrack anything later, I know what's what. But anyways, let's test track and then go back and listen and see if we've got a gap in the audio afterwards. All right, that should be enough to demonstrate this. Now let us hope that there is no gap in the audio. See, that's exactly what I was afraid of. I'm going to have to do the same thing that I did with the bass tracks, because there is barely, if any, distortion on this setting, so it ends up creating. So what I'm going to have to do is some good old-fashioned crossfading this evening, which I guess I'm fine with. Yep, and that should work just fine as long as I start playing a little bit early, and then I crossfade very, 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 very subtly. It should sound just fine. Let's give it a test track. Am I recording in multiple places? Oh. No, I don't want that. There we go. All right, let's give this a shot and see if we can do this. Can we still have multiple tracks armed? What else is armed? Oh, duh. Ah, just kidding. I would slip right there, wouldn't I? Okay. So we could try this again, and we can actually turn the metronome off, which is actually just messing me up more than anything at this point, because I am playing to the drums, and they are off to the click. All right, let's try this again. mind, I totally missed that line, but that's okay. We'll just do the same thing all over again. Now, let's get to maybe about right there. See if we can make this really, really subtle. To about right there. And a little baby crossfade. Let's go ahead and test this out. Bam. Seamless. Just as I thought. All right. Making great progress already. Now, let's do this again. Go ahead and stop it right there, even though it sounded just fine. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go ahead and crossfade this in to the main left track. Get it to about right there. Little baby crossfade. Go ahead and test this really quick. Go back and listen to it. See if it's right. And I didn't hear anything terribly wrong with that, or at least nothing that I can't very easily hide. So we'll do it again and just keep it going. And I think I've got 2 more verse riffs and 1 more chorus, and then we are pretty much then I'm going to come up on the high D major at the end, omitting the major note. But I like that chord better. We're going to use that one. It would help if I played the phrase right. since I made a mistake there, we'll go ahead and slide that up, make sure it matches, and keep going. And I'm okay with that. So all right, we'll go ahead and start the recording from right there and then do the same thing again. No idea what was going on there, but we're just going to retake the whole thing. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so all right, that's the only thing I'm really worried about there. My performance sounded fine. All right, so now we get to do all of this in the left channel. And we are going to move the Telecaster here up to this setting, because I think that was what I went with yesterday. And we'll check tuning again really quick. And we are in, so now the same thing, a bunch of takes, a bunch of crossfades, and we're done with all the rhythm guitars. I didn't like what was going on there. about right here, because it was in here that I accidentally hit a little bit of fret buzz there, and I did not want that. And all right, and that's all I'm really worried about there. So as long as those don't sound like there's a gap in the audio, we're good to go. Oh, whoops, I was early. That's all right. I still have one more of the verse riff section to go through, and then I get to move it to all right, perfect. That sounds great. Put the snapping back on, and and that sounded just fine. So now let's line this up. And then we've got all right, another good crossfade. Go ahead and dial this back to here. Or as a matter of fact, we'll just splice there. And then I can join in about right there and start tracking from there. And then we've got 2 more repeats of the verse riff and 1 more chorus, and then the rhythm guitars are tracked. Thank you, Cure, for keeping your song structures very, very simple. keep missing that slide up. Got that fret buzz again. All right. Now, let's put all that together and go back and listen to it as one complete performance and pray that I don't hear anything terribly crazy. And that actually sounds really, really solid. And we're going to go ahead and save that. And now... And I think I used the shoegaze patch for that, and then the clean in this channel. So... All right, so we're going to do it like that. And that should. And then I got to figure out how they add that in the midsection, because there's part of it's a keyboard solo. But we can always pull up the original track and figure that out here in a little bit. So let's go ahead and do this. That was not a very good take. So we're going to try it again. Was also not a good take. Let's turn the effects off on that track, reset it to 0 dB, and then fix my camera, which decided to die for some unknown reason. Come on, Elgato. You've got this. All right, and I think we're back. Yep, we're back. All right, cool. The ilks of being on a live stream. Let's try it again. that sounded pretty good. And I'm going to take that. So, and then we've got to do it again here. And then we've got to figure out the midsection. I wouldn't land up doing that. All right. Now comes the fun part. That is where I find my phone, which I did not bring in here with me. And we listen to the midsection of the song and figure out where the lead guitar comes back in. So, let me go grab that real quick, and I will be right back. It's been here the whole time. So let's pull this up really quick. No. All right, let's... Strangers, angels. Okay, so he only plays it the one time through, and then we got to go through and add those D major chords. Which is fine. So we can clear out. All right, so there's the first chorus. So right here at about the all right, cool. We have got it all figured out. Let's track this last one. All right. Do a little bit of editing really fast. To make room for this stuff. And we do want fade outs on that so that that note doesn't drag for too long. Now let's go back. All right. So he pretty much does it on every single pass on the second verse, but only does it on the third to last on the first verse. Now we're going to go ahead and cut this in. I was hoping to get all of those in one pass, but Not gonna happen. The dangers of recording. I don't like that third one, it was out. And that works. And now we need the shoegaze patch so that we can double all the rhythms. All right, more or less. And that was the patch that we used initially. So we're gonna go ahead and yeah, and that's about where I want to come in. Come in there. I can actually hear myself. This is going to be really buzzy and really loud. All right. We can go ahead and cut that. We don't need it. Cut between there and there. And move it up to where it needs to be. Get rid of that. I can cut there, cut there. Put that where it needs to be. All right. And let's go back and listen and see if there's anything out of place. Yeah, I may not double those. I don't know. I'm going to keep them in the timeline for now, but I'll probably end up taking out the fuzzier one because it doesn't really sound all that great. So, let's see. Where are we at? 1 hour and 3 minutes, and I've managed to get all that done. I guess that means that right about now, if I stopped and did some mental math, we'd probably be at about 10 hours of recording time since I started working on this. It's a lot of time. And that probably means that I've probably got about 2 to 3 more hours left to go before the recording is done, and I could do a rough mix and send it off for vocals. Because, yeah, that still needs to be done too. So probably about 15 total hours of recording. For what will amount to a little over 3.5 minutes worth of music. So if there was anything that I could impress upon you guys at this point, it is just how much work goes into writing and recording a song. I mean, stop and think about that for just a second. If this were something that I was writing from scratch, I'd probably add another 10 to 15 hours to that. 30 hours from conception to the finalization of recording, and probably another 10 hours to mix. And mastering usually doesn't take that long. Because usually mastering is either going to point out that there is a problem with the mix, or mastering is going to go smoothly, and there's rarely an in-between. So just keep that in mind. Why does it take so long to produce music? Because it takes a long time. Video production is even worse than that. That's why I say some of this stuff that I work on can take anywhere between 60, 90, even upwards of 100 hours to completely put together. It's a lot of work. And that's with me having everything fairly streamlined and fairly programmed and fairly ready to go for just about everything I need. It's rare that I have an episode like yesterday where I'm like, I'm not happy with my guitar tone. Let's try this. So, yeah, a lot of time goes into it. So if you are a songwriter yourself and you're going to a recording studio and scream when you find out how much it costs, that's why. Because it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. It's a lot. It really is. But, however, it is a wonderful art form. I would not trade my talents for anything in the world. I love doing this. And that alone makes it worth something to me. Because all of the thoughts and all the racing thoughts and all the stuff that goes with being artistically gifted, because most of us are disordered in some way. I mean, let's face facts. You have to be absolutely crazy to be at the level of vulnerability necessary to write great songs. Not that I'm necessarily there. Time will tell on that one, but for the most part, when I'm in here working on this stuff, the mind calms down considerably. And that makes me a really happy person, because I'm very unlikely to think about things that are bothering me. Very, very... And by the time I walk out of here, I'm usually really calm. And as of right now, going back to the beginning of the episode where I was talking about feeling drained, I'm actually feeling somewhat more awake than I did before. Like, I may actually just decide to bite the bullet and go for a run instead of taking a shower and going straight to bed. Because, like, my brain's slowed down. So I'm getting energy back. And that's a good thing. But enough of me preaching. Nobody comes here for that. Well, some of you do. Some of you like listening to me preach. I have no idea why. But I do appreciate the fact that people enjoy that aspect of it too, because I do like the art of both the written and the spoken word as well. So, but I am going to go ahead and wrap it up here. Go throw on some shorts and a t-shirt and go for a couple of miles. Further rejuvenate myself, then take a shower and go to bed. For all of you that came in tonight and watched even for a few seconds, I really appreciate it. If you like what you saw, I appreciate it. If you didn't like what you saw, come back next time. Maybe I'll be doing something more to your liking. But regardless, you can't find out whether or not the next episode is going to have something that you want if you don't click the follow and the subscribe, the likes, the notification bells, twist the knobs, pull the levers, all that stuff. But for an hour and 10 minutes worth of work, we made a it wouldn't be an episode of the Not Dave Grohl Show if I didn't lose my vocal cadence at least once. But we did make a considerable amount of progress. Enough that now that the only things left in the recording are going to be doing the rest of the synths and figuring out the piano stuff, which is going to be really interesting. So I might do that tomorrow night. I might work on my other original tomorrow night because I've got a lot of work to do on that too. And I actually got up last night because I couldn't sleep, and I came in here and I started playing through some of that stuff, and I found ways to modify it to make it more interesting without adding a ton of complexity. Actually, there's really no complexity to it, but either way, I like the way it sounds better. So I might work on that tomorrow night, and I might get to show that stuff off to you because there's a lot that needs to be recorded there too. But anyways, until next time,